Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Aquarius May 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Well, this month we have the famous Thoth deck, which we're going to use. Now, I know a lot of people are concerned about the Thoth deck because they find it very hard to interpret. Some people are afraid of it because of the involvement of a guy historically called Aleister Crowley. Now, anyway, he, at one point in about 1937, decided that he wanted to update existing tarot decks, and he sought an artist to help him with it. There was a lady called Lady Frieda Harris, whose husband was a very successful politician, and so she had plenty of money and plenty of time on her hands, and I think she liked the idea of being introduced to this bad boy. Women always love the bad boys, don't they? And she said, well, okay, I will do the art for you. And the expectation was it was going to take 6 months, but it ended up taking 5 years. Now, the real hero or the heroine of this deck is actually Lady Frieda Harris. And I think if, to the extent that Crowley himself may have made any useful contribution, it was only of a limited value. In fact, probably comprising mostly of coming up with really stupid names or titles for the minor arcana cards, I think. But I think her inspiration generally came first of all from her artistic genius. But secondly, I think she was very much influenced by the philosophy of an Austrian guy called Rudolf Steiner. You've probably heard of. Anyway, over the last month, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for people from all over the world over FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested in that, check out the information in the description at the end of the video. I've also done a lot of healings for people from different countries as well. Now, the clairvoyant readings I charge for, I have to, but healings, which can take about half an hour, I don't charge anything for. The gift was provided to me on the basis that I get nothing in return, and so it's offered freely, out of love, without any obligation or expectation of reward. Nothing will be sold to you, you won't be talked into having a reading, nothing like that will even be suggested. So if you feel minded to, check out the description and make use of it, because it's done a lot of good for a lot of people. Anyway, let's get the artwork to speak to us now, shall we, and get it underway. And what do we have first for you? It is Knight of Cups, Princess of Swords, a couple of court cards. There is the Sun right in the middle of the spread. Here is the Six of Cups. You can't get any better than that. I think that's probably one of the best cards in the pack, but there you go. And there is the Chariot. Well, why don't I bring the camera around? You and I can have a good close look at the art on these things, which I'll go into maybe and tell you what's going on with them, because they are just brilliant, these pictures, and they're worth more than just a quick look over. They will speak to you and I'll do the reading for you. Yes, the artist, the woman Lady Frieda Harris, is the real hero of this deck, and in honor of her and in honor of women in general, put round the side here some cards which I sometimes use in readings for some of my lady clients, which have things that some ladies like, which are handbags and shoes and what have you. This is really sticking up at me, so let's have a look at it. The great number 7, of course, which refers to me, mystically, with victory. And let's have a look to see what this thing is doing here. Now, well, straight away I'm getting victory over adversity. I think you've come through something of a difficult period, but now you see you're now going to overcome it. You have the courage to act, and there is success over previous negative patterns. There's probably something of a focus on self-discipline at the moment, and you might even be thinking about taking some rest and recuperation as well during the period. You are moving to higher grounds. This is a turning point. It's a change for the good. There's a new beginning here. overcoming, and you're overcoming problems, I think, with little or no support from other people. Let's have a look to see what the painting has to say in addition to that psychic message which is coming through. And it is, well, look, if you look at the driver, he's sitting in a meditation posture in a chariot which importantly has not yet begun to move. This is somebody who is surveying the landscape, seeing which is the safe path to take. Now he's clothed in golden armor, and he's meditating on, what would you call that? That's probably a holy grail, which is, by the looks of it, rotating around in his hand. The driver is examining all the possible consequences before daring to set the chariot in motion on a new beginning. Because once he's started, there's no turning back. Nothing is going to be able to stop that journey. So be aware of that. You will be moving forward. This is referring to very imminent, close new beginnings. It can actually refer to an actual journey itself, or, as I'm getting here, the start of some new phase, such as a relationship, or in a living situation, or a job, a new phase in your life. But nothing should be decided hastily at the moment. I think everything for you, here now, requires exact examination and preparation, but once all that groundwork is done, then this new start should not be put off unnecessarily, because everything here is pointing to a successful outcome. Success. Now, what else has he got going on here? We'll have a look at his armor. There's 10 crystals. Yep. That's a symbol of, now Cancer's everything here. This armor with these crystals is a symbol of Cancer's protective shell. Cancer the crab, providing shelter and protection for the inner transformation which is going on, which is this gold color. Now, in times of breakthrough or new beginnings, you need the protection and the support of a loving atmosphere which provides you with a sense of safety and security. Now, this oncoming change that's here, it's bringing with it a lot of excitement and unrest. And I must say, though, that this is a time to avoid chaotic, disorganized, or loveless relationships. Now, I think this new start that's coming around here is going to have you leaving behind the boring routines of daily life. Inspiration and ideas are going to come to you one after the other, and you're going to expand your areas of activity. And I think that is symbolized by these circles going around, these blue circles going around in the background. Because I think that you're now in a position to really engage successfully in a lot of different things. And this variety, I think, is going to enrich you, and it's going to stimulate you. But your highest goal won't be forgotten. Now, the road on which the chariot stands is paved with golden stones. Now, if I can get spiritual for a second, this is the royal path travelled by every spiritual seeker in search of self-knowledge and in a transformation. Now, you'll see here down the front, see what's drawing the chariot there? There are 4 sphinxes, a bull, a lion, a person, and an eagle. They're the fixed signs of the different elements. The bull being earth, the lion being fire, the person being Aquarius and air, and the eagle being Scorpio. And they are the energies that are going to set the chariot in motion. Now, if you look at them, they've all changed around their bodies and their heads, but they do help one another. And what this is saying is that once the right direction is chosen, their energies are going to come together and they're going to be set in motion to ensure successful progress for you. And your trust in your own powers and perceptions are going to grow. This is a great energy. This oncoming change promises to lead to a positive phase in your life. So get ready, put your affairs in order, examine the possibilities, because I do think you might be leaving a few things behind. Now, what areas of your life will be changing? Are you ready to ring out the old and ring in the new? And do make sure that you seek or create for yourself a loving, secure environment, because there you can plan the change or the journey. Getting a feeling coming through here also that your body needs attention and activity at the moment. But say this to yourself: I motivate others positively. I am responsible for what I cause. I accomplish things really well and with ease. And I am putting my life in order and preparing for this new, successful beginning. Now, to actually build upon that theme of success, turning point, good fortune, abundance for you, here in the central energy is that of the sun, which I call the Lord of the Fire of the Word. Well, the sun is the source of life, and it represents success and abundance. Let me pull that out for a second. I'll come back to it in a moment. And I think that this success and abundance is going to follow you through your life at present, thanks to this energy. This energy is going to get you through tough times. The sun is going to shine down upon your path after what has been, again, I think, something of a trying time. But definitely what this is doing is it is saying embrace your goals and give it everything you've got. And if you have had tough times, things are going to get better. Look at these little babies in there. Be childlike and remove any layers of negativity which are hanging around from you from the past. If you were to ask these children what is a layer of negativity, they wouldn't know what you were talking about. I do see fulfilled love relationships here, great awareness, highly creative energy. Now look at the painting itself. The sun radiates as the center of the thing, in the middle of the 12 astrological signs, which you can see going around this outside border there. And the sun is bathing everything in its light. Now, from the interior of the sun, there blooms the rose of realization. Its light is the essence of clarity and highest consciousness and awareness. Now, these two little kids, these two children with butterfly wings, they dance on the green mountain of creativity. And I actually think that this is a symbol of a liberated partnership between a man and a woman. Or, for the lesbians and the gays, someone of the same sex. You realize, of course, that each of us have male and female principles within us. It's just that one predominates more than the other at times because of anatomy, hormones, and psychology. But there's a freedom here, and this freedom that you gain is expressed by the ecstatic joy and enthusiasm of all those little babies have. Now, all energies are fully available to you for the creative processes. Now, the energies will no longer be wasted in struggles over dominance, jealousies, or boundaries. And I think that the experience of union in the service of the great light of these children here with their wings, it carries them aloft. You see, they, and they're saying you, should enjoy fulfillment in every moment. There is no wished-for goal off in the future. Everything is here, and it is good. Something new and transformational is being ripened, just as the fruit fruit is ripened through the chemical processes caused by the sun's warm rays. This is a great time, great for abundance. It's a turning point, as I say, just as that chariot was as well. And I would say here that the fulfillment of your wishes is possible here and now. So relax and just give yourself up to the dance. The right partners are going to find each other. Now, what task is on the agenda for you now? Visualize the light and warmth of the sun in your chest and heart, and for the next few days remind yourself several times daily that the sun is shining in and through you. And say this to yourself: I work well in teamwork situations. I enjoy making a contribution to group efforts. I am a cooperative person, and I am in harmony with the divine light which fills me and guides me. Yeah, the only other thing I'd say is that this has really got to focus on teamwork, but also on restructuring relationships to make sure that they give you the fulfillment and the enjoyment that you want. Here is the Knight of Cups. Hello, Knight of Cups. The Lord of waves and waters, the King of the hosts of the sea. This has got Aquarius all over it here. Actually, I think Pisces could also be important to you. Now, I think that this could also relate to somebody else, and it might be more to do with someone else, I think, that you're aware of, because now it could be a man or a woman. These things very much are. But I see commitment issues being a problem. This is a person, I'm not sure that this is you, that's kind of friendly but a bit passive, attracted to excitement, and can have an unsustainable enthusiasm for things. Someone who is sensitive, but deep down is really shallow. Well, that's not you, so this is someone that you know. And this person can mismanage their affairs, and without luck, their record can be one of unbroken failure, I've got to say. Mostly passive, qualities of Venus or a weak Jupiter. And someone who is so superficial that it's hard to reach their depth. Their name is written in water. That's just what's jumping up to me, I have to say. But the Knight itself, well, I'm not surprised, because the Knight itself is fire. It's in the suit of water. Fire and water don't mix, and so there's going to be conflicts in that person's character here. Now, let's see what else is coming here for you, which I think might be more important. You see, this Knight here, he's got large wings with which he soars on his powerful white horse, and he's wearing green armor, and the cup outstretched in his hand contains Cancer, the crab. The water sign Cancer, that's the cardinal sign of water, can refer to family relationships, personal relationships, romantic relationships, and here the idea of family must be extended to include any chosen relationships. These pale blue wings, though, are interesting. They're the wings of spirit uplifting emotional relationships to higher levels of exchange and mutual understanding, and I think that this is for you. This peacock, which is here, you might just see there's the body of the peacock, and then he's got these big wings that are going up there. Well, in the West, that's been seen as a symbol of vanity. In the East, it's that of wisdom and spiritual achievement. But this peacock is kind of uplifted. He unfolds his beauty, and he offers it without any pride to the service of the higher good. Now, this green armor that this guy has on, I think this is saying that he and you have highly creative ability to give expression to deep emotions. The gifts he gives are expressions of his striving towards more and more perfect forms of emotional interchanges. So it's good love is what I see around here, good love relationships. This other person though, and it's someone that you know, I'm sure, they can seem to be loving and generous and supportive and tender, but they're not around in your life for very long, and they enjoy pursuing their sexual desires, and people enjoy pursuing their sexual desires with them. And this person is ruled by the emotions, I think, probably not very practical, and generally tries to use manipulation, flattery to get out of picking up their share of responsibilities. They can be very insecure and needing constant reassurance. I suppose if I was to sum that person up, at worst, they would be unfaithful, fickle, shallow, highly emotional, and unreliable. And that's definitely not you, so it's someone that you know of that's coming through here. But I do think for you that you yearn now for an intensive interchange with those who are of like mind to you, who are of like outlook, who have the same interests, the same values. And you might ask yourself, how can that interchange in your relationships be enriched? Seek out now your true family, the people with whom you feel at home, and say to yourself, I am finding the contact I now need. Now, there's a lot of vibe of very erotic and sexual interest coming up from that, I have to say. I'll leave that to last. I'm going to do this princess first. Gee, look at this. What's going on here? The Princess of Swords. The Princess of the Rushing Winds, I call her. Pisces and Capricorn are here, and this is very applicable to you in particular. Now, you can sometimes find, and I think it could be a person I think you can sometimes find that you can be stern and revengeful. You can be firm and aggressive, but I think that you will be quite skilled in the ways of the world. The way you can sometimes put things across might come over to other people as being firm and aggressive, but you'll have a great practical wisdom. You'll have great cleverness and the ability to manage your practical affairs well. And if there's any arguments and controversies going on, I think that you'll be a very good mediator, someone who's able to get things sorted out for people. In particular, I think what's going to happen is that you are going to be able to, because she's earth, or air rather, and earth as princess, that things that are in your mind, you are going to get them to turn into very tangible and productive things. It's as if your thoughts can be manifested into a reality. And I think that you will have a victory over your moods. She is also the lotus of the palace of air, I think, and she represents a fresh intellectual clarity which is shaking everything up for you. She's just demolished an old altar. Do you see that here? Just demolished that old altar, which explodes, sending clouds of smoke and rubble and ash into the air. And when intellectual and spiritual renewal meet the element earth, the altars of old dogmas are destroyed, and the smoke will soon settle, though, leaving room for clarity. Now, every change, every inner conflict you experience sends smoke, or ash, if you like, the emotions and the moods flying into the air. But she doesn't allow the dust caused by the destruction of the old and the useless to cloud the clarity of her vision. She uses her sword to sweep away moods and disruptive thoughts which arise. She's very determined, can be aggressive, as I say, deals well with practical people. Now, you might find that there's an element of rebellion here with you, and you're not going to be intimidated by any established order or any established way of looking things. Because her rebellion is in the name of clarity, openness, and truth. And she is prepared really to destroy anything repressive, anything which prevents a full experience of life, including all moral codes. You will be very outgoing in manner. Your lightning mind will make things happen. Your thoughts and vision may at times destroy holy altars now, so don't let yourself be buried by the flying debris. Don't allow your moods to take hold of you, and remain true to your real ideals. What altars are present in your surroundings, in your life? Have you the courage to destroy them? Look inside, see if your rebellion is rooted in love, and say to yourself, my rebellion is positive, constructive, and creative. Now, this thing here is, this is the, what I would call the Lord of Pleasure, actually, because it's the Sun ruling the second decan of Scorpio, the 3rd to the 12th of November. And there's also, in the number 6 there, the Sun as well, and a double Sun exposes what Scorpio wants to hide. Now, definitely there's pleasure, indulgence, sexual pleasure, excitement here. Now, the lotus flowers you see in the picture there, they are open, glowing with the powerful yellow-orange color of awakened vitality. And the cups are made from copper, the metal of internal healing. Now, if you look closely, you'll see snakes coiled around on the insides of those cups, symbolizing the transformational power of sex when it is experienced naturally. The overflowing emotions are pouring out of the blossoms into the cups, whose bases are made of, I don't know what, fruit maybe. Well, this is really an invitation to give yourself up to the richness of your own emotionality, I think. You might experience this as a jump into water, as the tingling anticipation of diving deeply, of disappearing, of letting go, rising to the surface again, though you are refreshed. And this, I suppose, is the process of death and rebirth. The result of taking the risk is deep emotional purification here. This pleasure is a completely harmonized pleasure, though. The zodiac sign which I see is Scorpio, and, well, pleasure is planted in its most fertile soil in Scorpio, isn't it? This is a preeminently fertile card. So there's lots of pleasure being expressed now. And if you're not with someone, then you can still pursue sexual pleasure with yourself, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. But this is a pleasure, I think, which might have been experienced after much hardship. The reason why I'm saying that is because of this sea, which is in the background here. And I think that you might be also undergoing a period of healing, which is this brass, it's internal healing. The emphasis here is on a relationship or the desire to have one, where one which is going to improve both the people, where the sum of the parts is less than what the whole turns out to be. So enjoy now. Very sexual here, very erotic. The emphasis here is on sexuality. But enjoy now all of which life gives you, because this is the best way to express your gratitude. And are you holding on to old beliefs which prevent you from enjoying pleasure? Also enjoy your own emotional wealth and share it with someone. And say to yourself, I'm now ready and open for someone with whom I can share the joys of love on all levels. And you are loved. I think you'll agree with me that this deck, when looked at properly the way that we have just done now, has an enormous amount to offer, and the artwork is just genius and brilliant, and that accounts for why it has lasted as long as it has. Anyway, unless I see you privately for a clairvoyant reading or a healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.